Welcome back to the news at 10. The running mate of the late Prince Abubakar Audu in the Kogi governorship election, Honorable James Faleke, has taken the electoral umpire before the state governorship election tribunal, election petitions tribunal. Mr. Faleke is challenging the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission to declare the election inconclusive. The petitioner believes the election by all standards was concluded and won by APC's duo of Audu and Faleke.
Will you allow them to continue again?
Side by side with his principal, they both went around seeking votes. The unexpected happened, and Prince Audu could not wait to see the outcome of the race. Who becomes the APC candidate for the supplementary election as the exercise was declared inconclusive became a big issue. Court cases flew up and down, but the supplementary election held, and Mr. Yahaya Bello is declared and returned as the governor-elect of Kogi State, having inherited over 200,000 votes his party garnered under the Audu Faleke ticket. Mr. Faleke has since rejected to be a running mate to Mr. Bello, the governor-elect, as he firmly states that he stands in deference to the party's decision.
On no ground will I want to be associated with the decision of the party to pair me with Alhaji Yahaya Bello, because I am already governor-elect.
At that time, he promised that if the party goes ahead, he will challenge the party's stance in court.
If they go ahead to conduct election, because I have pulled out, that election will be challenged in the court of law. It will be null and void, and we are going to challenge it.
That appears not to be an empty threat, as Mr. Faleke, alongside the son of the late Prince Audu, have approached the Kogi State Election Tribunal, and it appears they are ready for a legal showdown.
Of course, judiciary is the last hope of the common man, and that's why we are here. I'm very, very confident in judiciary.
For Mr. Muhammad Audu, the decision to stand strong on pairing with Mr. Faleke in this renewed tussle, he says, is beyond him.
So it's not my place to decide whether or not. I must do it, okay? Because it's where the direction the family had gone.
The stage is set. The battle looks like a possible royal rumble. In the end, it is to determine who, in the eyes of the law, will be the eventual governor of Kogi State.
Let's take this discussion further now. Joining me on the News at 10 is legal practitioner G.T. Ogunye. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Yes, pleasure having me. Thank you.
Well, so Mr. Faleke is heading to the courts. So is the present governor of Kogi State, Governor Idris Wada. How do you see this playing out eventually?
Well, I am not expected to predict the outcome of this legal tussle, but one can say that given the circumstances of the emergence of Mr. Yahaya Bello as the governor-elect in Kogi State, the petitions that the two parties now, I'm talking about Governor Idris Wada and Mr. James Faleke had filed, have a fair chance of success.
Does it complicate the matter?
No, there's no complication in the matter. Those who complicated the matter first were INEC, who wrongly, in my view, declared the election inconclusive. And then the APC as a party, who were then trying to substitute or bring in a candidate when the election was practically over. And so that candidate then eventually garnered what they called 6,885 votes in the so-called supplementary election. And so, in my view, they were the one who complicated the matter. The matter was straightforward. At the time the election was declared inconclusive, Prince Abubakar Audu had won the election, thereby making it possible, when he died, for the deputy governorship candidate to step into his shoes.
Well, it does seem like, things have become more complicated even in the APC. One would think that it would solve this problem before it got to this level. Shouldn't the APC have at least tried to appeal to Faleke or sort of appease him in some way?
I think they are appealing to him, but What kind of appeal are you going to have and give to somebody to abandon his constitutional right? So if I were in his shoe, I would do exactly the same thing. You know, you can talk about party supremacy or party overlordship, if you like, but when the critical issues of the rule of law and rights of a lot of persons are involved, you have to be very, very careful. And in this case, in my view, these rights were trampled upon, and so the tribunal is there to serve as the arbiter.
Mr. G.T. Ogunye, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Yeah.
Share and Saragi, two communities in Kwara State, share close boundaries and other ties. They've clashed over a parcel of land. The warring communities engaged in a fight after an indigene of Share community attempted to cut a tree, resulting in the destruction of property. Our committee report tonight examines the cause of the crisis in an effort to bring in peace to the neighboring communities.
Now you're talking.
Share is in the Felodun local government area of Kwara State, north-central Nigeria, while Saragi, its neighbor, is in Edo. It's difficult to draw boundaries between the two communities as they've been intermarrying for years. But the relationship between the two communities has not been that rosy because for the last 16 years, residents have been clashing over the ownership of parcels of land. Last weekend, another dispute broke out when an indigene of Share tried to cut down a tree close to the borderline between the communities. Indigenes of Saragi did not take kindly to the act, accusing the Shire people of trying to take over their land. Things turned ugly in the wake of the crisis. The state government is wading into the matter and has set up a committee to look into things.
The government is also sending a delegation there. They will look at several other issues, which includes that visit. They will be looking at other review issues of maybe what has happened in the past as a historical. But definitely, government is concerned, and they will be looking at everything in totality. Government is not happy, displeased about the situation, but we need to carry on and move forward from where we find ourselves.
The committee paid a visit to traditional rulers in both communities, appealing to warring parties to once again sheathe their swords, while the traditional ruler of Saragi gave an assurance of helping to find a lasting solution to the frequent fighting. The national president of the Shire Descendants Union, who spoke on behalf of the Oba, said it's unbelievable that communities so close could be killing each other over land.
I was in Ilorin attending a function when the news reached me at about 12 noon. That this is what is happening. I quickly abandoned the function and I headed straight, knowing that I have to pass through Share, where tension had already been mounted.
It was just a simple thing, a cashier that was being caught by the people of the Shire on their own land anyway. We wouldn't know what will have caused that so much that you would demand for any war. I want to, on behalf of the community and on behalf of the people, to register our profound gratitude to the state government for what they have done in order to let the peace reign.
In the meantime, the Kwara State Commissioner of Police warned the people against fomenting more trouble or breaking the curfew in place. He also denied the loss of lives on both sides, saying that only properties were destroyed.
It is unpardonable. Whoever perpetrated this crime will not be allowed to go scot-free. I'm therefore warning all others to please be law-abiding. If you have communal grudges, if you have any case whatsoever, please take it up through the appropriate channel.
The latest fighting between Shire and Saragi lasted 7 hours, leaving over 50 properties burnt.
Etisala, now you're talking.
So now to business news. Imana Amawe joins us.
Executive Officer of CFG Advisory, Mr. Tilewa Adebajo, says there is need for government to reduce the amount of revenue spent on debt financing in the country. Mr. Adebajo, who was a guest on Business Morning,
spending on the most important number when you look at deficit financing is to find out how much of your revenues you're spending on debt service. The United States of America has a debt to GDP ratio of over 100%. But because of the power of that economy, they are only spending 8% of their revenues on debt service. Our debt to GDP ratio is 14%, but we're spending 35% of our revenues on debt service. That is where we have a problem. So we have reached a limit in deficit financing. The money they want to raise domestically, that's not a problem. The domestic market can absorb another $1 trillion in bonds issue over a program. And
microfinance banks can serve as a catalyst for poverty alleviation, especially amongst women in developing countries like Nigeria. That's coming from the Managing Director of Lakpo Microfinance Bank, Mr. Godwin Ehige-Amuso, who also highlights the vital role micro-lenders play in the transmission of financial services to small businesses. He was a guest on our program Business Incorporated today. And global energy giant Royal Dutch Shell has announced a $2 billion cutback on its planned capital spending for the 2016 financial year. The company will now spend $33 billion in the new year. In a statement released today, Shell explains that the cutback became necessary due to the steady low oil prices and the need to complete its planned acquisition of BG Group plc early next year. According to Shell's chief executive, Ben van Beurden, the acquisition of BG Group will contribute to its cash flow from operations in 2016 if Brent crude trades at $50 per barrel, or much higher. Shell expects the BG Group deal could be completed by February the 15th next year. And the all-share index dipped by 0.17% on the last trading day before Christmas, standing at 26,871.24. Here is Bisi Adebayo with the rest of the figures.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. It's the last trading day before the Christmas holidays, and the Nigerian equities market slipped back into negative territory after 2 straight days of bullish trade. The all-share index dipped by 0.17% to close at 26,871.24 with a market capitalization of 9.23 trillion naira. Nigerian breweries PZ and Dangote Cement ended the session as the top 3 price losers. On the other hand, Forty Oil, Mobil and food giant Nestle were the top 3 price appreciators for the day. Banking stocks continued to drive market volume, with FBN Holdings pulling the highest shares at 30.16 million. In all, 149.87 million shares were exchanged by investors valued at 1.55 billion naira in 3,255 deals. And that ends the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Now, as markets closed for the Christmas holiday today, some equities were favored by investors, while others got the cold shoulder at the global stock exchanges. Let's see how these equities fared exactly. And that's our package on business news tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Imana Amawe. It's back to Amarachi for the rest of the broadcast.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Michel Platini's bid to clear his name hits another brick wall as FIFA insists the Frenchman cannot head straight to the Court of Arbitration for Sports to appeal his ban. More sports news. Please stay with us.